Hello, I'm William Gallagher. This is 58 Keys, and if you are a writer who, like me, wants to get more out of the Macs, the iPhones and the iPads that we all write on, this series is for you. It is so for you. You owe it to yourself, really, to subscribe. You really do. And that does help me. But actually this time, this is a slightly unusual 58 Ks in that instead of talking about writing tools or even actually about Macs, iPhones and iPads themselves, instead we're going to talk about monitors. I just said you should subscribe to me. If you're looking for a monitor for your Mac right now, do watch me, please, but as many other YouTube videos as you can find too, because monitors are hard. I mean, I could have called this whole series 58 monitors and I'd still be shortchanging you. Monitors are displays. All right, they come in different sizes, that bit's kind of obvious, but then there are different resolutions. I mean, how much you actually get to see on the screen, regardless of how big or small it is. They come with different display technologies, which all have their advantages. Some of them have a key disadvantages. They plug into your Mac in different ways, and actually not all Macs can cope with all monitors. And don't get me started on refresh rates or prices. Seriously, prices all over the place. However, what I have found in the last year is that changing your monitor makes a huge difference to your writing and to the business of writing. I mean, doing all the things that you have to do as a freelance writer, as a business owner, as well as the actual writing, it is affected by your monitor, and that does affect you. A year ago, I'd have shrugged about this and said, well, yeah, maybe. I miss my old 2012 iMac had a lovely screen. I wasn't that fussed. Today, I'm fussed. And this is why I think you should be, well, that's too much. I think you should, but see what the difference is I'm going to show you. See what you think about it. And I believe you're going to come out of this agreeing with me. You're going to come out of it wanting a new monitor. And not to get too far ahead of myself, you're most likely going to want the second of the 3 monitors that I'm going to show you. That's 58 Keys this time. The entirety of Mac monitors summed up in 3 different models. So it is, let's say it's early 2019. My injured 7-year-old iMac is dying and I buy a Mac Mini. Frankly, I get the cheapest I can get and I need a monitor with it, so I get the cheapest one of those as well. That's what my budget allowed. That's what I did. This is the monitor. It's a 27-inch AYAMA X2, whatever. I'll put it in the show notes. I did just look it up. Today, in mid-2020, late 2020, you can buy it for £143 in the UK. That's another thing with monitors, though. I read all these guides and features, and you know they all came to different conclusions about the best monitor for a Mac, but the majority of them were coming to the conclusion you should buy this monitor, which turned out to only be available in the US under that name. They'd be in the UK as well, but under a different name. It's just impossible. So maybe you can buy this exact one in the States too. I mean, I expect you can, but let's just say so you can get an idea of the values and the cost here. £143 today is about $186. And it gets you a monitor like this, which is fine. I mean, switching from my 2012 pre-Retina iMac, so pre-really lovely screen, it was pretty lovely. I went to this and it actually gave me headaches. I mean, literally headaches, eye strain and stuff. Plus, I was quite shocked at this, the distance between the top and the bottom. I was used to seeing yay much, and now it was like yay minus a fifth. But that's what I could afford. My eyes adjusted to it after about a week, or maybe a month, and that was me from January 2019 to March 2020. Early March 2020, I get the chance to use this widescreen monitor. I'm thinking this is a bad time for that. I'm just about to go off around the country. I've got 40 events, go to them. I'm hardly going to be in my office at all. Well, this is a Samsung 34-inch ultra-wide monitor, and I think you like the look of it. I know it's the screen quality that matters most, but it's not an ugly device. And I do spend, at the moment, around 12 hours a day in front of it. So not ugly is nice. You like the look of it, and now so do I. But when it first came, when I first got the chance to put this on my desk, and I first connected it to my Mac, I was disappointed. You've concentrated on the width, but notice the height. Top to bottom of the screen, it's quite narrow, certainly narrower than I had with my old iMac, but narrower than the 27-inch monitor. And that's not brilliant. It's okay. It's not brilliant, except when I very first started it up, there were two issues that emphasized it. And one of them here was the dock. For some reason, the dock had reset to be pretty big, and that size of dock made the gap look ludicrously small. And I tell you, I was a bit crushed, actually. And then, for something else to do, I tried watching some Amazon Prime Video on it. I watched an episode of Star Trek Picard, which, if you don't happen to know, is rather beautifully shot. Didn't look it on here. It was fine, but it wasn't great. And actually, to be fair, I think it was better than on the 27-inch cheaper monitor. But somehow, you'd expect it to be much better, and it wasn't. That bit hasn't changed. I tend to watch videos now in a corner somewhere, squeezed in a bit, because that's where they look the best on this screen. Fortunately, though, what has changed is the dock. It took me a good hour that first night to remember that you can adjust the size of your dock. But I did, and I made the dock much smaller. In fact, actually, just about the size I would like it anyway. But it was smaller enough than it had been that the space left for my work and my apps didn't seem so paltry. I left the dock that size, and from then on, I profoundly, completely loved this monitor. Except, now let me complete the love part. You can well understand that having a wide monitor means you can spread your work out and you can see all of it at the same time. And that's been particularly useful for me as I've run some 6-hour Zoom workshops. I put Zoom in the middle here. I put my notes above it, so I'm looking straight over the camera at it. I can put an outline over here. I run a big analog clock to keep me on time, and I'll pop that over there. Most days, though, actually I have it like this. I've had to blur some bits out. This is how I will have it most days when, for example, I might be writing for Apple Insider. And that includes the central part where I'm actually writing. Over here to the right, I might have a website that I'm reading or that I'm writing on. Over here to the left, well, that's Slack up in the corner for communicating with editors. OmniFocus, my to-do list at the bottom. And I think you can really easily see how that means I keep everything in view. I can quickly read or refer to everything I need, except this part with the website. Behind Safari there, I've got Mail. Behind Mail, I've got my job database in FileMaker Pro. And I'm having to constantly change between those three all the days. And in those websites, actually, I was so often reading and referring and researching that I have lots of tabs open. And actually, it's quite hard to see. This is quite broad, but you see smaller and smaller. It was hard to do it. So I actually set up a Keyboard Maestro keystroke so that with the touch of a button, that would go double width. But now it's covering up the writing area. And over there, are you following this? Are you keeping up with this? Under Slack, there's Reader, an RSS news reader I use a lot. Underneath both Slack and OmniFocus is my calendar. Yeah, and several times a day, right? Yeah, okay, this is the last thing. Several times a day, I also have Pixelmator Pro. I've got to illustrate a lot of things. So I open up an image editor I really love, Pixelmator Pro, and I spread it across these two while I'm focusing it. God bless Keyboard Maestro. I must show you some of that in a minute. It's one of those apps that's so big that I've yet to figure out how to do a complete 58 keys episode and encompass it all. But it comes into so many things, and one of them here is window control. I like how I can just set up all of these windows in one go. I'm not spending the day dragging things to here, moving it to here, just tap and it all moves. I love that. And I love this ability, this thing to see all these things at once. Guarantee you, I would find it incredibly hard to go back to a regular sized monitor. But as well as constantly swapping around, one night I was working about 9 o'clock at night on a news event, a US news event, and I was writing stuff. I was watching editor chat on channel because of the briefings. I was exhausted. And at 9 o'clock, I would have been, well, actually that day I would have started later than usual, so I was probably still only on about the 12th, 13th hour or something. But this monitor, which had briefly been disappointing, then for months was utterly glorious, it was actually starting to feel cramped. So now you've seen a 27-inch monitor, you've seen a 34-inch monitor. actually completely unrelated. I don't know why I'm bringing this up now, but I do occasionally get asked why 58 Keys doesn't tend to cover unboxing videos. No real reason, really. You know, beyond, well, maybe practicality, perhaps, possibly. So, for all that it's an enormous box, it was surprisingly easy actually to get this monitor out of that. And now that it's on my desk, I don't find it all that big. It's a 49-inch ultra-wide display, and the other day I got out a tape measure to check that it really was 49 inches, because just after a while you forget how wide that is, which is surely an argument to not buy one. Anyway, what you don't forget is how useful that width is. I mean, I'm a couple of weeks into it now and I'm still settling in. I'm rearranging windows and things and all that stuff. But I mentioned earlier that during my, let's call it my 34-inch period, I was doing this late night thing with audio transcription and Slack briefings from editors. Well, I did another night like that about a week after this arrived, and it was far easier. Reading, writing, transcribing, following what was going on and being able to write about it, to create. It was joyously easier, better, faster. I will say this now because I think you're probably expecting it, but yep, yet again, the top to bottom distance, it isn't great. I wish there were taller monitors this wide, but there are not. And I keep going on, but it can't be all that bad because I still keep the dock at the bottom of the screen. I mean, I like it there, but you could hide it. You could move it to the sides. I leave it there, so clearly I'm okay with the height. I am more than okay though with the width. I do actually require Keyboard Maestro to handle this. Actually, I keep telling you that. Let me quickly show you. Here's a script page. Right, in Final Draft, it's just opened anywhere on the screen, but I tend to like things I write to be at the center, so there's that. Or if I want to check out something, I can fling it to the side, put it there, back to the center, over here, go to there. I could make it double width. I think I can make it triple width? Yes, or just back to where I like it. Yeah, I can change size, positions, whatever. That's all through an app called Keyboard Maestro, and I've been using that app for years to do 1,000 things on my Mac, some of which are to do with monitors regardless of the size of it. All of which I'd say Keyboard Maestro is essential for a monitor this wide. Great, but is the monitor itself essential? No, cannot pretend that it is, but I am I am supremely glad now that I took the step and spent the money. I mean, you can see that clearly I can spread out all my work properly and I can just work faster at everything, but also actually the image quality is better. It's better than I've had before anyway. It's not Retina, but the text is sharp and it is rock solid. I never noticed before that text wasn't rock solid, but it wasn't, and now it is really crisp and clear to me. But okay, you're looking at me now and you want to know the price, don't you? Let me first wind you up a bit with the retail price and then what I paid for it. Okay, hang on for that second bit. The regular retail price of this Samsung 49-inch monitor is something like £1,600. Yeah, I know, me too. I knew I wanted it, but then I got it for $970 instead. It is new, but it's as used, and it came via Amazon, and I could return it, assuming I could get it into the box into the car. Now, I'm not saying that this is cheap, but that 34-inch monitor, if I were buying it, that retail price is now £700. So no, it isn't a bargain. I can't pull off that it's a bargain, but it is brilliant. Listen, that's it. Oh, wait a minute. Do you think that my telling you, writer to writer, telling you about this monitor, is there any possible way we could both make this some sort of tax deductible thing? I'll look into that. Thank you. And thank you too, if you wouldn't mind doing the the YouTube dance with the subscribe button, because that really helps. Expensive monitors. Yeah, anyway, that really helps for me. I'll be very grateful if you do that. But more than anything, thank you very much for watching. And you take care of yourself now, okay? I'll see you soon.